Hi, it's Claire, your intuitive reader. Am I reading your story? Let's find out. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm actually in a really good mood. I've been sick, but I had a really good New Year's Eve. Very, very mom-like New Year's Eve, but enjoyed it greatly. I had a lot of truths come out in my life, and I actually really appreciated it. It was actually nice to end the year knowing where my life stands. I got a lot of inquiries from the universe, and I wonder if you guys did too. So yeah, I've been asking for truths, and so you got the weight of the world, and this is about boundaries. Let it go, it's not yours to carry. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So I had some weird stuff happen over the holiday, and things completely changed, and I was actually fine with that. What I loved about it is I kept my boundaries. I didn't pretend with anyone that I was not feeling any particular way, and it felt really good. And I think it was kind of shocking to some people that I was kind of like, yeah, okay. But I think that's where we're going. We've been called to, you've been called to show your soul gifts and go through the door. It's time to step up. And how are you going to step up? How are you going to step up into your true life's purpose? How are you going to step through the door? Like, this is one thing I don't think we realize when we, going into another year, going into another day, but going into another year is very symbolic because, it has a different resonance. We're on the year 9. Last year we're on the year 8. The numbers 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equal 8. And this year is 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 equal 9. And so then we'll start all over again that in 2026. So this is like the 9 card in the tarot, where we're at that end of that suit, and the next step is starting new. So once we've gone through the door, like I think a lot of people forget, you've gone through a door. You can't go back through that door. That's one of those things. It's like it's happened, but you're realizing that. Like, you're realizing that you stepped through a door you weren't expecting. You were like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll make this decision. And when you made that decision, it changed who you were. It changed your path. Like, you didn't realize that door would not be there when you turned around. You're like, oh wow, where am I? And the only way to go was forward. So you had to find a new community. You had to find a new way to celebrate, a new way to practice in your new world. You were in a new world. You stepped through this portal, and then you're like, oh wow, looking around and like, oh, how do things work here? Like in this picture, it's so funny. Little frogs are drinking. They're drinking and partying and having fun, and everybody's having a great time. And it's just like, there's no hostility. There's no need to like constantly assert your boundaries like we had in the weight of the world. Like, before you stepped through this portal, you were feeling like the weight of the world was on you. Like, okay, if I can just float, if I can just if I can just get through this and keep my head above water, I'll be fine. But then you went through into 2025 and you're like, oh wow, okay, where am I? This is a very different place. It's, the seasons have changed. Before, it was like you were kind of in a place of like, here we see this winter, and this is funny because it's like winter going into autumn. That's not how that works. But you've been kind of stuck just keeping your head above water for longer than you thought. Like the last time you're like looking at things, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get to this season when I don't remember going through the other seasons? It's because you were in survival mode. So that's interesting. I wasn't expecting to get that from that, from that. And there's a 444 on the timer. So that's about foundations. That's about the structure of your life. That's about like I was saying, like getting together. Maybe you're meeting new people. You're resonating with different people, or you're just having a good time. You're like, I'm just going to enjoy where I am because it's different than where I was. I mean, some of us are in that position. I get the feeling that someone here at least is in the position they're like, you know, anywhere was better than there. I don't care. I'll make this my home. I'll make these my friends because they're way better than the other ones I had. You know, the leaves have changed, you know, the seasons have changed. You're no longer, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So see how there's apples in here and they're floating above, and it's kind of like this picture. It was like you kind of felt like you were just going about things, you know, like every so often somebody would like try to grab you or bite you. I don't know why that came up, but more like, you know, past people and relationships and friendship groups maybe were a little they were a little nasty, biting. That's what I'm getting. Like, you know, you didn't ever know when it was going to be a backhanded comment, a compliment, or, you know, something backbiting. That's what I'm getting, behind your back. And so you were always trying to keep your you know, yourself like boundaries clear and stuff like that. But it didn't matter because that was the kind of people they were. But your new community is really welcoming to you. They could, let's see what I get here. Cups, and okay, so like here's vines, and vines on here, and then there's fungi. That they have a network. So this could be online. This could be why the seasons have changed. You're like, I'm finding community. I can't find it locally. I had to go completely get away from the place I was and the people I knew and be all alone and go on this journey myself. Because, you know, I had to really find myself. You had to make sure that you were, you know, think about the irony of this picture. She's floating in water, which makes you weightless, but she's talking about being weighed down, the weight of the world, being honest. So it's like not seeing that you actually don't have the weight on the world on your shoulders. You're actually floating, that you're actually in a state that naturally you don't have the weight of the world on your shoulders, and then moving away from that into a world that's much more accommodating, much more joyful. You know, you can have fun all by yourself too. You could have, you know, just fun doing things. And you're creating this world with the magician here. You're creating the world you want. You're trusting your instincts. It's blooming. You know, you're also, you're kind of like, see how she's right here and she's right here. It's like you're manifesting this world. You're creating an endless happiness, a network, a joy network. You're bringing this into the world. It's really beautiful. I love this energy. Way to go. Let's see. And it's fun. I mean, I love those frogs drinking. I mean, what are frogs drinking? That's pretty funny. So then we got the Two of Pentacles. And you just got the Magician, and the infinity sign I didn't see was made out of the vines. So like I was talking about, this network, this online community, or just network of friends, this network that you feel, you feel like an authority. You feel like people want to listen to you and be there, and they find interest in you, and it feels very balanced. They're kind of amazed by your ability to create, to have this very fun, fiery, exciting, manifesting energy, but you're also very grounded. You're very grounded with all this wood, and so I love that. And then you got the Hanged one, and the World. And so, I mean, like, wow, you got the Magician. So this world you're creating, like I kept talking about this, you felt like the weight of the world was on you. So you floated downstream. You're like, okay, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to just go with the tide and not fight it. And it swept you to a place where you went through a portal. You went into a different world. And when you went through this world matches your, it's like the upside down world, but it's a cool thing. It's not like in Stranger Things. It's like the upside down world is actually, because we kind of live in this kind of nightmare. We're like, we have it backwards now. Like our real life every day is full of war and violence and whatever. And you're like, but there's a different world. I can feel it. And so you went through this portal and now you're seeing things in the world. You're like in this world that to a lot of people seems upside down. And you're going, but it's actually beautiful and like amazing things happen here and people get together and they feel like they can create anything. You know, with the magician here, I mean, like, look at these cards. Who wouldn't want to be in this world? I mean, I can't imagine not wanting to be in this world unless you enjoy or you're benefiting from this upside down world. Like, I think that's what people need to realize. Like, if it seems wrong, it probably is. Like, why are we accepting that this is our world? Oh, because we've been told, we've been taught to be afraid. Like, here's the world in one of the cups, and but you might just get one of these awful things. But there's a castle, wait, and jewels. But you might get a dragon. But that would be amazing, right? Like, who wouldn't want a cute little dragon? Like, oh, hey, he's a phoenix, but I have somebody who looks just like that. So maybe that is the phoenix. Like, what's going to happen? Oh no, what's going to happen after you burn everything to the ground? Oh no. Wow, you'll probably rise like the phoenix because that's who you are. And like, oh, here's sensuality. Oh no, we should be afraid of that, right? And the snake is actually the instincts, the knowing. And then here is, oh, the moon, who knows what it might be? Oh yeah, who knows what it might be? Like, if we really examine all these cups, who wouldn't want all of these? Like, the unknown, amazing wonder, you know, new world, you know, rebirth, you know, knowledge, you know, a castle, jewels. Why wouldn't we want this? But we've been taught to limit our manifestations, limit our vision, limit our enjoyment, our sensuality, like from the heart. Look at all this green and orange, like the sensuality brought through the heart space. I mean, what happened to sexuality being, you know, a positive thing? Positive sexuality. Like, why are we now so depressed? Because we're getting to a point where it's like when the 60s happened, we're like all accepting the fact that love is not the problem. Sexuality is not the problem. What is our limitations in the organized groups and stuff that have, you know, used fear tactics, you know, to keep us distracted from our focus, from our manifestation, from our ability, our singularity ability to create. I mean, this is one, and then two infinities, that we are the power source, that when we come together, when we create, when we manifest, we create a whole new world. I mean, here she is again, she's got the wand, creating that, using every element. And calling your choices and how you see the world, and that you want to experience all these things, you know, as backwards, as a problem, is the only problem you're having here. And you're leaving that behind. Because, oh wow, the high priestess, wow. So look at their two eyes. When you changed perspectives, when you went to the different world, when you went through the portal we were talking about, because you were called when you went through, you really became a different person. You started seeing that the world is only as limited as we allow it to be. When we see it as a complete and utter, never-ending infinity possibilities, then that's when we get our power back. That's when we feel the weight of the world fall off of us. And you got star bathing. So this is, you know, maybe focus on that. I've been doing a lot of salt baths. I've been eating little small pieces of Celtic sea salt. Not a lot. Like, if you have issues with your sodium levels, I don't. I actually have to intake a lot of salt. Then don't do that. It's all about balancing. It's all about like what works for your body. If you have sodium issues, take a salt bath. You're going to be fine. It's not going to, you know, but you're remembering who you are. You're remembering your true path. Wow. Oh, wow. look at this. So here is the Queen of Wands, and it has the same cat in it as, oh, here's the cat. The same cat in the world, and the same cat in the Magician card. Like, there it is. It just keeps showing up. You are bringing this forward. Wow, this is beautiful. This is like this powerhouse of energy. I just love this passion here. I've never drawn this card, actually. I've used this deck a lot and never drawn that card. And here's the Page of Pentacles. Look at how, like, all the work you've done. Like, you don't need to work hard. You've already done the hard space, the hard stuff. Now, you know, like, have trust in that you have everything. You've been a busy bee. And it was funny. Yesterday, I'm on basically the 3rd floor of a Victorian, right, when I do these readings. And there's a bee right outside my window. And I've never seen one of those. In all the months I've been doing this, in the years that I've been up in this room, I've never seen a bee. It's really high up. And it was just buzzing there. And I was like, whoa, this is a sign. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me this sign. And, oh my gosh, going back to the beginning here. Like, you're partying hard. You're having fun. You're enjoying this. You're enjoying learning. And see, here we have the pumpkins. And that means this little fairy is about as big as these frogs. So you may have been seeing this, like, this whole thing about, hey, frogs, or, you know, who wants to put time into frogs and stuff. It's like, these frogs are fun. These frogs are your people. These frogs are not, you know, you get along with the frogs. You get along with the frogs when everybody's been telling you that you need to, you know, hang out with all these fairy people, and the fairy people aren't very nice. So you're like, whatever. And this is balancing the scales with the 6 of Pentacles here. You're like coming into balance with everything. And people are really loving your energy. They're wanting to be around it. They're seeing that you have such a childlike way of presenting things, of bringing things into the world. You don't need to take up a lot of space. Your energy is pure. It's very earthy. It's very nurturing. It's very innocent. It doesn't need to take credit for anything. It just needs to, you know, step forward. Yeah, I just love this. Let's see if I get anything else. You're seeing, with the Hermit here, you're seeing, like I was talking about, you're seeing clearly now. You're seeing, like, look at those little mice. And that's that 3 blind mice. See how they run. And they were getting chased. So maybe these 3 little mice. So we've got frogs. We've got 3 frogs and 3 mice and 3 people. And so this is about groups. This is about coming together. We've got 3 birds on the ground here. So a lot of 3s, a lot of bringing forth. I love that. I really love that. You're grasping your new world, and it's not like other people's worlds. Like I was talking about, it will look like the upside down world, but again, isn't the world we're living in right now a little upside down? Like, doesn't it kind of feel like, I just want you to look at these people. They're saying that you going through your metamorphosis, your enlightening, your transcendence, awakening, is making you look like a blank-eyed zombie. But the problem is you're not. Your eyes are super clear. You are like looking at things like, look at these. These could be 2 eyes. You see things like laser focus. You're like, woo, wow, I can create anything. Wow, wow. And meanwhile, you're looking around at everybody else. It's like, all you have to do is just change, you know, go through the door. You know, go to the actual happy place, which is not upside down. It's just you're seeing it in the wrong perspective. And so you see the world now. You see it clearly. You know, she's got a pomegranate here that's split open, and this scroll of knowledge. It's like, and she's got her feet in all the realms. So this is incredible. This is about bringing forth this knowledge and stuff. Like, this is a brand new world. And so I love it. I think it's great. I'm getting very uncomfortable in this reading, which is very physically uncomfortable, which is weird. So I get the feeling that somebody out there is going, no. Like, when everybody will look at me like I'm a demon or whatever. And I'm like, so to live in this beautiful world, you're saying that you have to believe that these good things are actually bad? Like, do you want to be a part of that world? Do you want to be a part of the world where everything that you see is good and light and prosperous and beneficial and wonderful is actually seen as bad? Just because the mass majority of people think that, that's kind of like that moral of the emperor's new clothes. It just took a child to not be afraid of being judged, to point out that no, this was the truth. And just because a mass amount of people accept that a lie, that a distortion, that the untruths are real, that just means mass hallucinations, mass hysteria. So instead of going, well, what I see can't be sane because it's not what everybody else is saying, just maybe feel like, oh my gosh, those people are actually, would rather live in delusion that their life are actually happy and they're actually not in the upside down world. See that as like, oh, if I was in that position, because a lot of us that's being projected on us. That's that weight of the world of like, well, if you see this as the truth, then there's a problem with you. That's a lot of weight. That is like wanting to get away from like, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by people who are not seeing the truth, and that's scary. I read a book by Edgar Tolle, and it's The Power of Now. And he made a very good point. We as a society, we as a global society are living in mental illness. The people that are actually getting depressed and speaking out about it and being called crazy are actually the ones that are seeing clinically unhealthy things and calling them out and not being able to live with the delusion. So that's an interesting way to think about things. Just because the vast majority of people say something is true, if you truly know it's not, and it's backed also by science and psychological, things, then who's the crazy one? And I'm not allowed to use that word, crazy. Who's the crazy one? And isn't that crazy that we have to say crazy over and over, and we have to like cover up pictures of people that, might have body parts, and like, whoa, I mean, we gotten a little crazy, right? Like, yeah, we don't want to, we're afraid of what the sting's going to be or what's going to come at us. We're afraid of all of that because it does seem like the world has gone crazy. Crazy, like gravy, like so thick and convoluted that we see love as a negative when it's a positive, and we see war as a victory. Doesn't that seem a little like we praise people who do bad things if they get ahead? Like, there's a lot of millionaires, there's a lot of billionaires now, and they're doing awful things, and we are celebrating them. Our society is celebrating them, and they're calling anyone who doesn't celebrate these fools and crazy. That seems a little crazy to me. So anyway, that was an interesting side note. I think there needs to be some justice, continued justice, whether we're seen as a problem or not. When justice comes, it'll balance out the scales, and make sure you're standing on the right side. Just because everybody says that this world is the correct one, what would happen to those baskets? Yeah, you can't have justice. You can't have the scales of justice if it's upside down. Think about that. It's just gravity. It's just physics. So, yeah. Okay. Well, I love you guys. Good luck on this journey. I'm so grateful for you guys being here. I wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for you guys. I love you guys so much, and I've really enjoyed the lives and celebrating the new year with you. So I love you. So if you could do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the little notifications, and most importantly, come back And remember, you're a part of this community. We carry the torch forward. We create the world we want. So, love you guys. Bye.